Hello, my name is Niharendu Banerjee, and this is my story for the Colourful Heritage. I've been trying to come to UK for my postgraduate education after my first degree from Calcutta University since 1957. Eventually I became successful in 1959, but unfortunately my grandfather died that year. So for various reasons my journey had to be postponed for the next year, and the two chances I had from London and Manchester both went, and Glasgow thankfully had kept my option free, so I came to Glasgow at the end of 1959, but to start in 1960. Remember, there were about 150 people wanting to see me off. It made me very nervous in Dum Dum Airport in Calcutta, and over 60 of them were all from my extended family. And the principal reason for that was, I think, is that I was the first Banerjee to go abroad in a Boeing 707. That flight started from Kolkata, I think that year or the year before. Appeared in London Heathrow, and I was suddenly, for some reason, they suspected that I must have been carrying some contraband or whatever, I don't know, some wrong information they had. And I opened my case, and they searched me, they searched everything, and they found nothing. And I said, well, thank you, but you've got the wrong information, and now I have missed all my buses. So let us see what we can do. So I had £3 10 shillings with me, sumptuous £3 10 shillings that you are allowed to carry in cash, and then the rest was in traveller's checks. So I got a taxi because I didn't know what to do. So with that I came to Guildford Street in Russell Square in London, and that was the Indian Students' Hostel. When they came there, they could stay there for free for 3 days, which is very nice. And that, by the way, took away all the cash I had just for that journey, naturally. Nowadays it would cost £50. And then I just waited to board a train to a local train to I think it was Harrow. Yeah, Harrow, yeah, where my friend stayed after 3 days. And then I stayed there for a while, and then I went to another place in North London, in Middlesex, and then from there I came to Manchester, and I stayed there in the Asian area. It was just beginning to start at that time. A few Indian shops were in view. You go there now, Wilmslow Road is all India and Pakistan and everything. So that was that. And then after that, in between I went to Leeds, I went to Preston, Chester and all those places. Interesting. And then came to Glasgow on that cold morning. I changed over to applied chemistry. And that's where I took an ordinary degree. And there's a lot of it I should have really been able to do. An honors degree I didn't, simply because of poverty. In 1962, the Chinese decided to come into India, and that was a terrible time. Money was stopped, and for 9 months I did not get a penny from home. And in a country when you are in a full-time study, to do that was not easy. Did whatever jobs I could get here and there. By the way, that also happened later when tragically India and Pakistan in 1965 went into battle, and again the same things happened. Both Indian and Pakistani students, we all suffered together over here horribly. But anyway, that brought us, funny, ironically, together rather than being against each other, because we were in the same boat, and we supported each other as much. Indian Students' Union was the oldest single overseas students' union, not just in Scotland but the whole of UK. And when I came that year, there were 510 members of the union, all Indian students. The Pakistani Students' Union had started just a few years before, although Indian Students' Union was established in 1926. Naturally, that in Pakistan didn't exist at that time, and of course, Bangladeshis only started in 1971 after the two countries separated on the basis of language. But I have been involved, fortunately, in all. I mean, when the Pakistani societies gave a show, I went and sang there in Qawwalis. We had a Qawwali team. Myself, my friend Devendra Pratap Johari, and a few others. Wasim Khan, he was a great harmonium player, and then D.P. Sinha, he was a tabla player, and we sang in each other's programs. Every year we had a program called the Festival of India, which was very well attended, and we sent all the profits to charity. Mr. Shaheen actually came from the Peshawar district, from the northwest west of Pakistan. A wonderful man, again, so kind and so, he'd always, again, the heart in the right place. He would never refuse a weekend job if you were looking up, a student and wanting a few bob to earn. And he had his big warehouses in the south side of Glasgow, and he would give them jobs, and lots of my friends have worked there, and always donated generously to all enterprises of students. And it wasn't, I can assure you that it wasn't confined just to Pakistani students. No. If you went there and it said, we are publishing a magazine, please, and immediately would give a full page advert and so on. In 1963, in the summer, I had an opportunity to go and teach in a school in Ayrshire, in a summer school. This is for summer school. This is for children who were recuperating after some severe illness or mental trauma because their parents had separated and that sort of thing. 2 days I got the chance to go and see a place called Kilmarnock Academy, and I wanted to see how chemistry was taught there. And that completely changed my entire sort of program, if you like, because I was going to take my degree and then go back to India and started in our own pharmaceutical business and all that sort of thing. But I just sort of quietly put that aside, and I started quietly doing this. So when I went into Jordanhill College, they were quite surprised that I could speak English in that way. So I had less difficulty of that. But covert racism, yes. I'll tell you just one single episode that will convince you, I hope. My great friend, who I shall, if you don't mind, he will remain nameless, but he was a councillor from Lanarkshire into Strathclyde Regional Council and used to have the full council meetings. At that time, after having done 2 principal teacherships and had head of faculty, and I had proved to be able to even do the timetabling of the entire school, went into a course successfully, I still could not be good enough to become an assistant head teacher. Time and time again, they were saying, oh, you missed it by this much. You know, and I kept missing it by that much until I realized I was 54 years of age. And the last application I did, again, it was so difficult to make up their minds in the councillors. And then this friend met me on Bath Street. I was still working in 129 Bath Street, the headquarters of Glasgow Division. I'll come back to that in a minute. But he said, I want to speak to you about something. He said that in Punjabi, but I said, is it French? So I went into a coffee place and we sat down, and he said, I have something to tell you which is very difficult, but I've heard it and it is hurting me, and I'm telling you, but if you repeat this outside and you take my name, I will completely deny it. And I said, I promise that it will not happen. And he said, my name came up as to why is this guy not still being promoted? Because some councillor, somebody must have put that up. And the answer to that one was given by a senior councillor who said that we reckon that if he is made into an assistant head teacher, then we will have to make him a head teacher very soon. But it will be very difficult for him to run the school because the principal teachers, the white principal teachers, would not cooperate with him.